Hey guys, Mega Man NG here, and you guys know what that means, right? It's time now for this week's Flash episode review. This week we're going to be talking about yesterday's episode, Rupture. And believe me, after watching this episode, twice I might add, I have a lot to say about it, and all of it is good. Very good. So here's the deal. I'm going to be providing a summary of what the episode is about, as well as what I liked and disliked about it. You guys already know the drill. We only have 4 episodes left before the season finale at the end of May, and then we won't have any more Flash until season 3. So, without further ado, let's get started. Taking place immediately after the events of last week's episode, Back to Normal, Wells told Barry that there would be a way for him to regain his speed, and recreating the incident that gave him his powers would only do it. It sends shockwaves all over, and it gives Barry some needed doubt, so he decides to pay a visit to his surrogate dads, Joe West and Henry Allen, for not only advice, but also comfort. At the same time, Zoom has made his move to Earth-1, bringing the CCPD to their knees. It gets worse when Cisco has to contend with an Earth-2 version of his brother Damien, who's out for vengeance. With the threat of Zoom and his forces looming, Barry has to make a choice. And when he does, can he be able to stop Zoom before his reign of terror brings massacre to the entire multiverse? Yeah, a bit dramatic, as you would say, but honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. This episode, holy crap, it was awesome. It was awesome all around from start to finish, and for some weird reason, I loved it. I love it so much. You guys know that Welcome to Earth 2 is my favorite episode of Season 2. However, I can honestly say that Rupture is officially my second favorite. The main plot is Barry Allen getting his speed back, although I will explain it all in the end, but man, this episode was done so well. It really does. The episode, for starters, was serious. It was serious because of how dangerous things have become. This week's villain of the week is what you're seeing right now, Rupture, a.k.a. Cisco's brother. And believe me, Cisco's brother is no laughing matter. His Earth-2 counterpart, to be specific. Rupture is basically a villain, a meta-human from Earth-2 who packs like a nasty scythe and can shoot out energy beams too. He's basically a destructive force. It's a new costume supervillain, but I really love the design of it. The design of it is so awesome. It reminds me of the Grim Reaper and Testament from Guilty Gear. And they even added the cape too for good measure, since it makes it feel like a Grim Reaper. And the guy's out for vengeance, and believe me, it was just so cool seeing him there, but also so dangerous. This episode is dark for another reason. Zoom. Zoom has now become more terrifying than ever. More insanely unstable because of the fact that he has a speed force. If you don't believe me, watch the scenes when he is portrayed there. It's terrifying. Teddy Sears, I'm starting to like his acting, especially how he's portrayed as Zoom. It was just really awesome and really scary too, especially when he you go so fast killing all those officers. It's just scary. It's just absolutely scary. Now, this episode isn't complete without the humor, and believe me, with the scenes with Cisco, there was humor all around. But the humor also had a bit of a serious side when there was a scene when Cisco talked with his brother Damien, the Earth-1 Damien, confessing everything. And Damien wanted to know, and he got it. And after Earth-2 Damien's death, what happened afterwards really tugged my heartstrings, seeing the two share an embrace. And basically, it showed character development right there. It was just so emotional that, personally, it's one of my favorite scenes in the episode. Seeing the two reconcile and be together. That is amazing, and I loved it. I really loved it. Of course, that's not to say that the episode was a bit action-packed. It was very action-packed. It was very emotional. For starters, it was nice seeing John Wesley's ship again, a.k.a. Henry Allen, a.k.a. the 90s Flash. And I swear, the interaction between Barry, Henry, and Wells was just awesome. It was awesome, but there was also a lot of friction involved because of the different decisions. Because on Henry and Wells' side, they don't want Barry to go through with it. I mean, Henry and Joe. But with the other people, I mean, they, like with Wells, sorry, I'm just sputtering, but Wells wants Barry to go through with it because if not, Zoom's going to end up tearing the multiverse apart. And I swear, this is just like emotional all around. It was also intense, it was serious, it was scary. And I really gotta say, this all around was just nuts. It really is. It was nice seeing Wally West again and Jesse, although this does bring up something else that I need to mention. Most of the episode, especially at the end, detailed how they had to recreate the accident that gave Barry his powers. You want to know what that reminds me of? Flashpoint. In Flashpoint, Barry was in a world where he was never the Flash because he went back in time to save his mother. In turn, he ended up in a reality where the world was probably going to hell. So, at some point, he basically had to recreate the accident that gave him his powers. And after seeing this episode, you can obviously tell that it did not end well. It really didn't, except it was much worse. Made worse by the fact that Wells and Jesse and Wally ended up getting affected by the particle acceleration explosion. It was nuts. It was scary. But at the same time, it has me wondering, now that Wally and Jesse have been affected, does this mean that they're going to be speedsters too? I mean, I feel that was one of the nitpicks with the episode. I feel since they got affected, I know they're going to have a role in the end of the season, since they're going to end up being speedsters like Barry. And if that's the case, then it means that we're going to have ourselves a Flash family. But now that Barry had disappeared after the accident, which brings up something now for next week's episode. Next week's episode is, yes, it's going to involve Barry, but where he is, I don't know for sure. But what I am going to say is that this episode was without a doubt one of the strongest episodes. It wasn't just strong, it was also dark. It was scary, and all around, man, the ending literally just tore me up. I thought Barry was going to get his powers back, but no. Something went wrong. Very wrong. Now, with what's happening next with only 3 episodes left, the tides are turning for the worst. And it's only a matter of time before Zoom decides to bring heck to all of Earth 1 and the multiverse. But like I said, my only nitpick with the episode was just basically that, well, now that Wally and Jesse have been affected, they're going to be speedsters themselves. And I feel it was a bit too soon. It was a bit too soon because it could have waited a little longer. But I guess they needed someone or some people to help fight back against Zoom. Because Barry can't do this alone. And you guys know that Barry Allen is one of the most popular characters, but as the Flash, he's also one of the most powerful. Which I am going to say at the end, I will provide my feelings on the whole death battle thing. So anyway, I really love this episode. This is my second favorite episode next to Welcome to Earth 2. It was strong and dark, but it also balanced the dark with humor. You had good action, some intense emotional scenes, character development, and an ending that was just shocking. Absolutely shocking. I really mean it. It was a shock from start to finish. What do I rate this? Simple. I could just say rate it like a 9.5, but no. I am officially giving this episode a 10 out of 10. One of the most intense episodes of the season. Although I do give it a 10, there was a bit of a flaw, which I already explained, but honestly, it was just that awesome. The writing was solid. And with only 3 episodes left till the season finale, things are going to get really crazy. Next week's episode is where Barry's going to be ending up in a different place. In this case, the Speed Force. And surprisingly enough, next week's episode is where Kevin Smith will be directing it. So I will provide my feelings on it there. And before I end this video, yes, I do know about the death battle between Barry Allen the Flash and Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver. Who do you think, who I would vote for? This is a no-brainer. Barry Allen. Barry Allen is the most powerful speedster I know. He could basically break the sound barrier. He's basically everything that Pietro isn't. Although this is opinions, I don't even know if it's going to happen. So only time will tell if a death battle will happen. And when it does, I'll provide my reactions on it. So anyway, that's it for my review of this week's Flash episode. Apologies if I was stuttering or everything, but this is what I get for having to do this sooner since I got to get this up in about an hour. What do you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know in the comments what you think of it. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. And I'll see you next week where I will provide my thoughts on the episode that is directed by Kevin Smith. Look forward to that. This is Mega Man NG signing off. Peace out.